Radiating from the Lone Star State and stretching from coast to coast and border to border, this is On Radio, the weekly download from your family of companies: CMS Wireless, Enertech, ET Tower, Legacy, and Mountain Wireless. Welcome to On Radio.
Hey, welcome back, Kevin and Justin. We are talking Road Warrior stuff with On Radio, the wireless industry's way to tune in to what's happening. So, other than what guidance? I mean, you've told them that they should call ahead. Shouldn't they also like have the FSC do a little bit of that work if they're having trouble finding a hotel? I mean, I've been in places where you got a town of 2,000 people and the county fair is there that week, and yeah, the nearest hotel is like 74 miles away. That happens out west. Happen down there, Kevin?
It does, Jim. That's a great point, and something I was going to touch on was a lot of people are using the Airbnbs now because they can't find a hotel. They'll use an Airbnb instead. Get online, book an Airbnb with a couple of guys, and sometimes it works out even cheaper that way to find something like that.
Yeah, I definitely could agree, Kevin, that the VRBOs and the Airbnbs is really successful. But to Jim's point with the FSC, like, we all do better when we pre-plan, right? We all are more successful. We're more prepared. And if we're looking in time, looking at county fairs, we're looking at festivals and rodeos and everything in these smaller towns. Because a lot of times you're hosed. And so like the moment that you get awarded the job in certain locations, it's advantageous to go ahead and pick up that phone and start looking as soon as possible, month out even. We've gone that far in advance on certain projects, right? We don't always have that convenience, but on certain projects, you're looking 30, even 45 days before your boots on the ground just to avoid that. And then, if you don't have that luxury, you don't always have the time. And so you're leveraging the FSC to help, move heaven and earth to be able to find you a room is an extremely great tool in the toolbox.
Well, and if you're a crew lead, isn't it true that that's one of the ways you better be taking care of your crew? If you want a happy crew, get them a decent place to stay, get them in the neighborhood of a reasonable meal that has not got critters walking on it.
I'll tell you, Jim, something successful to Kevin's point with the VRBOs and the Airbnbs of the world. I have had better crew morale boost utilizing those because I like to cook, and being on the road, cooking the team dinner, team breakfast, packing even their lunches before we all go to the grocery store together. We pool our money and we say, what do we want to eat this week? We go through and we this is it. Here's breakfast, here's lunch, here's dinner. Get it all packaged up. And then if we're at a VRBO, you got all the luxuries of an oven and everything like that. So we would make everything. Yeah. And it made everybody so much more just tip-top shape, right? And that was simple, low-hanging, cheaper too, right? It's way cheaper to pull your money and buy groceries than it is to go out to a steakhouse every freaking night or junk food every night, because that's never good. Yeah. So,
and grilling a hamburger is way, way better than McDonald's or Burger King or whatever. But nice transition into food. We're going to talk about food because a lot of times in our industry, we're known for convenience store diets. And that's not really a diet. It's kind of an existence. So what are the foods that you like other than McDonald's, Burger King, all that stuff that's going to make you look like a pear instead of like an anvil?
Kevin, you want to go first?
Sure. Something we've got down here in the South. I know you're criticizing gas stations, but we have Wawas and we have Buc-ees, which I think you guys may have some Buc-ees. I'm not sure how far out of Texas they go, but a lot of my guys down here are stopping at our Wawa gas stations and the Buc-ees, and the food you can get it at either place can be healthy. Obviously, like you said, the McDonald's and the Burger King sometimes are your only choice, but now that we have Airbnbs and VRBOs, you can run to Walmart or any grocery store, Publix, anything, pick up food and cook food for your team, which, again, Justin hit the nail on the head. the morale is much better. If these guys are getting a somewhat of a home cooked meal, I guarantee you they are happier and will work harder for you the next day.
Would you trust Justin to make your dinner? I mean, really?
Jim, in the short amount of time I've spent with Justin, I trust him a lot.
I put on a pretty good show every once in a while, a little distraction over here and, one of those.
And then feed him like virtual burgers, or what do they call them?
I'll tell you what, I contribute Aaron Duvall. I know Aaron Duvall's listening. That man and me would make a lot of food together, and we still do. We've done Christmas parties and we've done other parties and we've done a lot of food together, and that was half the fun, right? Yeah. When you're driving down the road, what better is it? Like, what do you guys want to eat tonight? That sounds like a great idea. That's a way better distraction to talk about what you want to eat than how cold it is or how hot it is or how rainy it is or snowy. But you start talking about food, and everybody's like, "Yeah, man, let's do hobo dinners." Hobo dinners, man. What's a hobo dinner, man? That's tinfoil, carrots, potatoes, onions, olive oil, sea salt. You package all that up, put it on a grill, let her bake, pull it out, and it's easy, man. It's great, and it's cheap, and it's fun, it's tasty. And I mean, it's not like we were baking bread or anything like that. I mean, like, we're doing practical meals here.
Exactly.
Like, I don't think anybody ever was like, let's do an egg souffle. And I'm like, no, we're not doing egg souffles.
Well, wait a minute now. So I've been on the road with some guys who says that my wife's beef stroganoff is way better than your wife's beef stroganoff. And, well, those are fighting words, man. We're not going to make them side by side. But the person who's cooking that night, they better deliver.
Oh, that is a true statement. Like, if you pony up and you're going to be like, hey, I got dinner tonight, and you suck at cooking, I'm sorry. You're going to reap the wrath, man.
Go suck somewhere else.
Yeah, it's like, this ain't the, no. So if you don't know how to cook, you can learn, right? You can learn how to cook. Cooking's not hard. Learn. But if you don't know how to cook, it's just like work, right? If you don't know how to do something, don't say you know how to do it. Don't be a fool. Because everybody's just going to, they're just going to jam you up, man. So just, like, be practical and be like, hey, I know how to make mac and cheese. All right, buddy. Well, you're not cooking tonight. So next.
This dude made malto meal for dinner. I mean, really? So, but there's a big controversy in the tower industry, and I want you guys to settle it for me. Should we, as an industry, eat at taco trucks?
I've never heard that as being a massive conflict. I never see a taco. I never get to see taco trucks. Where I worked, if you saw a taco truck, you were either on the border or you were in the downtown area. You weren't out in the middle, unless you're, I don't know, there's some oil field. But those taco trucks were phenomenal, man. There was like the greatest taco. It wasn't even a taco truck. It was like Pig Latin, like barbecue and different things like that. Like, it was awesome. And it had like 75 trucks lined up. Like, you guys are gonna bust my chops for this one, but there's these man camps in West Texas that have to be able to work in the big oil fields, and they'll bring in the trucks so people have variety in what they get to eat. And so, in my opinion, Jim, to answer that question, it's all about perspective and context to the location. If you're out in the middle of the sticks and you got 75 trucks or you got a lot of people lined up, that seems like a safe bet. If you're downtown in a city area and that truck has more rust than something out the look, I don't go to that one. I don't eat the gizzard, man. I don't eat the gizzard.
Yeah. So. Kevin, do you guys have taco trucks down there?
We do. We have tons of them, most of them with Puerto Rican influence. A lot of Puerto Rican influence in this area.
Wow.
So our taco trucks are taco. Oh my God, Jim. It's amazing. It's amazing. So again, the controversy you're talking about, everybody here is going to those trucks. Nobody is not going to those trucks.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal down here.
All right. So we're dialing down the controversy and saying, hey, look and get a feel for the environment that the taco truck is located or the food truck is located, and then make a decision based upon, if there's 74 cars there, it's probably a good deal. If there's 74 trucks there, it's a great deal.
Truth.
Right?
Yes.
That's so true.
Yes.
All right. So how about eating healthy when you're on the road? I personally, I love, well, I don't even, I try not to go to restaurants anymore because I sit down and I'm like, well, let's see what's on the menu. Well, I like steak and and I like potatoes, and then my backside blossoms to way too wide. And so I'll go to a grocery store and I don't want to say this in front of tower guys, but I'll actually buy a salad, or I'll get some sushi, or we go to Safeway out here or any one of the Kroger chain, and they're usually, little dude chopping sushi back there. I kind of like that. It's a little bit healthier. Never see too many really chubby folks from Japan. So, that's a healthier way to eat. What do you guys do?
So,
Are you laughing at me?
No,
he's mocking me. Wait a minute.
So resources is always the key, right? Like, I've worked in so many places where you didn't have a lot of options, and like it was a fast food grocery store, and I go to the grocery store. I was like you, Jim, in a sense on the road. Like, I tried to always go to grocery stores because it was cheaper, and it was a destination kind of thing. Like, we always planned it as a crew. We made the goal as like, hey, where's the nearest grocery store for us as we come into the city tonight? That way everybody had their mindset on what we were going to eat. Like I said, like when we were driving in the truck, we were all talking about what we're going to cook, what we're going to eat, how we're going to do it. And so then when you get there and if a guy goes down to the frozen food section and just buys a bunch of like frozen dinners and everything, like we were like, well, that doesn't sound good. It doesn't look
Bad
good.
mojo.
No.
You're fired as a cook.
Like, I'm huge on vegetables. I'm huge on fruit. Like, you could do so many things with vegetables and olive oil and salt and pepper. It's just so easy. You don't need to worry about butter then, because butter has to stay cold. You buy olive oil, you buy salt, you buy pepper, you buy like peppers and stuff like that. And then you just have to keep the vegetable side somewhat dry and cool. You don't have to worry about ice and loading up on ice, because every time you go somewhere, you're worried about keeping everything fresh. Yeah. Well, buy things that have long shelf life.
And you don't mean Top Ramen, right?
No, I don't mean Top Ramen.
Yeah. Okay, good.
But like
Top Ramen, because you leave that and even the rats won't eat it, in your hotel room, in your nice hotel room.
But like, vegetables are huge. I mean, we were all huge chicken eaters. I mean, that was just what we did. We ate a lot of chicken. Now, it was always fresh chicken. That was the thing. Like, we would always go buy it that day, cook it, because we didn't want to worry about keeping it, preserved. Now, if we were staying at a hotel, had a refrigerator, all that jazz, yeah, sure, you load up a little bit more. But when you're moving, the VRBO. Now, when you're moving, that's the hardest one, right? Like, we all had the hardest time when you got that 10 hour plus drive, and you were trying to figure out, and what the heck are we going to eat? So I deferred to pretzels, beef jerky, and fruit. Those are the three primary things that I would eat on the road. Now, don't get me wrong. There's some guys that are listening right now that are going, Miller, you ate Pringles, you ate Reese's Pieces, you ate like all that stuff. So don't get me wrong.
We all did.
I cheated, but at the same time, like, I climbed every single day of my life when I was out on the road. And so, like, I earned my Reese's Pieces, y'all, and I earned my sour cream chips, man. Don't you take that from me.
Yeah. Speaking of potato chips, Kevin, I mean, up in the West, you got Lay's potato chips, and you got maybe Tim's Cascade and some. But what do you have down south that's like the staple munchie food?
For me, I'm not sure if you guys have heard of it. We have a brand called Zapp's, which is out of New Orleans. It's a Cajun chip. They do it in like Cajun crawtators and voodoo and stuff like that. Those are hard to find. Oh my, Jim,
I can't even pronounce that stuff.
Yeah, no, I'm telling you, Jim, they make some of the best chips that I've ever had. I'm sure there's some awesome stuff out there in your neck of the woods, but down here they're hard to find. You don't find them at your big chain gas stations. They're found more in the one-off gas stations, but man, oh man, if you can find them, you load up on them. And beef jerky. It's hard to go wrong with a beef and cheddar stick and a bag of Zapp's. That's where it's at.
There you go. Well, folks, I want to thank you for tuning into On Radio again. We've been blessed to have two of the guys who spent a long time on the road, give you some wisdom. And as we say every day On Radio, hey, let's all choose safety today. Thanks, fellas. This is Jim, and I am out.